Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 2 on the channel here, video 2. This is going to be a little bit of our backstory here at ATC Rug Washing and Specialty Cleaning Services, where our customers can always talk dirty to us. I've got some notes here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go through our year 0 at this company. Now, if you didn't catch our last video, you have no idea who we are. My name is Pat, and our business made a hard pivot from B2B to B2C in and during COVID. So we're a family business. I'm third generation, and for most of that time, since 1978 to 2021, we were strictly an office cleaning company located right here on Long Island in New York. During COVID, we realized that less and less of our customers and their employees were going into their offices. So we better figure out a way to get into their houses. And for a lot of different reasons that we will get to in this channel, we got into rug cleaning. Now, the point of this channel is really to give a insight for other maybe small business owners or service businesses or anybody who wants to come along for the ride with us on how we are trying to grow a service business in 2024. But I think the best way to do that is to kind of explain where we come from. This video, again, is going to be our year 0 journey. Now, when I joined my family's business, being the third generation, my life was very easy for the first decade or so that I was in this business. Everything kind of ran on autopilot. We really weren't growing overly rapidly, but every time we lost an account, we seemed to gain a new one. Predominantly, we were using Google Ads as the primary way to grow the business. We did notice over the years, because we kind of started Google Ads pretty early, actually, compared to most companies. They were a lot cheaper when we first started running them. There's a lot less cost per click. It's a lot easier to get customers. Just seemed like there was less competition. And right before COVID hit, we were starting to realize that we probably needed to change the way that we were going to grow the business just to kind of sustain the level of comfort that we all kind of had. And then boom, COVID hit. Now, being a cleaning company, COVID was actually pretty strange. We had the highest revenue year we ever had in 2021, followed by an even higher year in 2022. Now, we were lucky that we serviced a lot of businesses that had to stay open during COVID. We did a lot of banks, a lot of medical facilities, and other types of businesses that had to stay open. And we performed a lot of nightly and weekly disinfection type of services for them. While our business's revenue increased, a lot of our medium and smaller accounts were unfortunately going out of business, and we were losing customers extremely rapidly. We probably lost about a third of our business in the 2 years where we had the highest grossing revenue we ever had. Now, my father had, prior to the pandemic, him and my mother had booked a trip to Hawaii with some of my other family members, and they were still able to go in late 2021. No idea why he came up with this, but he gave me a call and he said, "Hey, PJ," that's what they call me here in the business. It's Pat Jr. He said, "We are getting into the rug business." I had no idea what that actually meant, no idea what he was talking about. And I told him to have a good trip. Now, when he came back, I realized he was absolutely serious. He decided to purchase some of the equipment that you need for this business. And there is a lot of equipment in order to get into this business that we chose. He bought a lot of the bare bones equipment, I should say. But by late 2021, I think if I remember correctly, sometime in October, we were ready to go and we were in the rug business. Now, when I say we got in the rug business, I mean we got in the rug business. So this wash floor here, the same one we bought from day one. Now, the centrifuge has been replaced. I'll get to some of that in another video. We had this warehouse space here that you see behind me. This was just a storage space for a lot of our janitorial supplies and other office cleaning equipment. And we converted the entire thing into a rug shop. Now, I'll show you a couple of pictures right now of what it looked like, just so you can get an idea of really how far we've come in 3 years. And actually, we're on this side of the warehouse here. But in May of this year, 2024, we actually had to move to another side of the warehouse because this business actually takes up quite a bit of space. Now, we didn't realize that we would need this much space. We had no idea how much more equipment we would need. This right here is one of our original drying racks. Rugs get really heavy when they're wet, and we had to literally lift every rug by hand after we washed it to finish drying. You can see in the back, I've got an automatic rack there. Much, much easier. And this here was our first office. This is just the office that had come with the warehouse, the original warehouse. We really never used, we used it for supplies. We had a couple little desks in it. And for 2 years, 2.5 years really, this entire room was how we conducted our business. Now, this is our second office. This is the office that was just in the warehouse. It's significantly bigger, although not really big enough. But it allowed us to begin to hire more staff, more employees. Another office here. And you can see this is my office here. We do a lot of stuff on the walls. But this bigger office, we were lucky enough to get this space. This bigger office really has allowed us to grow. And I don't know if we'd be able to grow the company without it. I did a little hat change in the cut there. Now, when we made the shift from B2B to B2C, we had no idea how we were actually going to pick up customers. And during our year zero here, we kind of experimented with everything. Now, if you're a service business, you're going to be very familiar with Angie's List, Thumbtack. Some of those, you pay for a lead, but there's multiple people are paying for those leads. And you have to, it's like first call, whoever can get to that customer maybe gets the account, or it's very price competitive. So I call, I give them a price, and then the next person calls, and it's all very price based. And we did not want to, we didn't get into this business to be on a price based, to compete with other people on price. That's actually a big reason why we got into this business. So we realized that nobody, and if you're going to start a business, you might want to consider doing something very unique in your area. Now, there are a lot of people who clean carpet everywhere, but there are not a lot of people who have a properly built rug shop. And we decided to get into this business because of that fact. Now, we really didn't know how to necessarily do this work, but we had a lot of experience cleaning carpets in a commercial setting. So we were able to kind of make the leap from that type of business into a similar business. And I would recommend, if you are in a business now that services other businesses and you are looking into getting into a B2C or a residential service business, doing something that's somewhat close to what you're doing now. But even when you do that, there are so many differences between B2B and B2C. And there's a lot of them that you would think are obvious, and there's a lot that aren't as obvious at all. A big one for us here, we wanted to make sure that we knew how to do the work. We thought, okay, you know what? We took some classes. I gained a ton of knowledge. I know more about carpets. I know more about rugs. I know more about cleaning chemistry than I ever thought I would. That's just through hours and hours of research and trial and error, and literally cleaning thousands of rugs. But what we didn't realize about this business, what we didn't really think about, we are in New York. We are on Long Island. The traffic is out of control here. We are in the pickup and delivery business. I would say even more so than the cleaning business. And figuring out the hurdles of that have been very challenging. It took us 3 years now to find a reliable person who can actually drive to locations that we actually trust to drive our vans, we trust to deal with customers, that can actually do a lot of upselling at our customers' houses. And it's a whole nother level to this business that we didn't even think about. And every business that you get into, you're going to find that. So it's just always something to, if we were doing this, we really did this by like the seat of our pants. And we've been using we used a lot of the resources from our other business to do this. And that business has been struggling because of some of the COVID constraints that we had. And really, it's also struggling now because we didn't realize how much time this business would take to actually build and grow. And we've really almost had to put that other business on the back burner in order to do this. Now, we were lucky we had some systems in place that allowed that other business to run itself, but it's very difficult to grow that business now because we're so busy with this business, where even after 3 years, we're still trying to really turn a profit. I mean, we're paying the bills here, but we have to service so many customers for the overhead and all the other expenses that we have here. And it's just been very eye-opening, and that's kind of a real big reason why I wanted to make the channel. More for two reasons, really. One is kind of for myself, because I want to document the journey we're on. I ever since I started doing this, though I had the idea to do this channel, and I've really been doing a couple of posts on LinkedIn and really thinking like this about where we've come for the last just 3 years of doing this. When you're a business owner, sometimes you forget how far you've come and how far you've been and how much you've done as the weeks and months and years kind of roll on. So I'm doing this really for me, but also I think that maybe somebody can find some value, especially somebody who's either making this change right now or is in the trenches with us in a different business or any business really, but is servicing local customers. And I really want to get into just the stuff we learned. By no means are we doing anything perfect or even probably correctly. And I'm hoping maybe that I make a video on Facebook ads or something, and somebody in the comments tells me a different way to do it. That would be fantastic. But I'm a little bit humbled by this experience so far. And again, I just want to share it with anybody who'll listen. So that is kind of our year zero. That is where we kind of started off. Now, my next video is going to be about what I consider our first real year of business, which was last year, 2023. And then really from that point, I'll kind of wrap up 2024. And then I'm going to really just make a lot of videos for behind the scenes of what we're doing here, how different things that we're trying. We do a lot of video marketing here for our business. We try different ways to grow our business. We try different things to drip on our customers. We recently just started building our email list, which was a huge mistake for us from not starting that from day one. But yeah, so I'm going to wrap up this video. Bear with me with I know the microphone's not the best. I am going to work on that. Probably work on a little bit of a different camera setup. I realize that I'm doing this on my desk, but every time I touch the desk, the camera shakes a little bit. So sorry about that. But I will get better. I've done a lot of videos on the internet, over 1,500 on YouTube, but this is now my second talking head video. So I will get better at it. I promise you that. And just stick around. Hope you guys learned something. Hope I learned something too. And we'll see you guys in the next video.